Okay, so get this. China just pulled off something crazy, like straight out of a movie.
Mm-hmm.
They built an AI tool that's like right up there with what OpenAI is doing.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. They did it in like 2 months.
Wow.
For a fraction of the cost, it's a total David versus Goliath situation. And it has Silicon Valley freaking out.
About that.
So we're diving into this video that breaks it all down.
Okay.
And it is packed with crazy insights.
Right.
We'll unpack like what this AI actually does, why it's such a huge deal, and what it means for, like all of us, from the future of tech to like global power dynamics. And who knows, maybe we'll even find like a hidden investment gem along the way.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
It's not just the tech itself that's like super interesting. It's the timing.
Yeah.
The fact that China decided to drop this bomb on Trump's inauguration day, that speaks volumes.
Talk about making an entrance.
Yeah.
So let's break this down. We're talking about DeepSic R1.
Right.
This AI tool that just like came out of nowhere. The video throws out this number and it's almost laughable.
What is it?
When you think about what companies like Google are spending, $6 million.
$6 million.
$6 million. That's like your average Hollywood movie budget.
Wow.
Not the birth of a cutting-edge AI.
Right. Yeah. To put that in perspective, OpenAI and Google are burning through billions on their AI projects. DeepSeek was built for what amounts to like pocket change.
Right.
In the world of big tech.
It's like they found a shortcut that nobody else knew existed.
Totally.
And the reaction...
What was it?
Well, the video quotes a meta engineer.
Okay.
Who basically said, America's tech industry is freaking out.
Oh, yeah.
They're like scrambling to figure out how China did this.
Right.
And what it means for them.
Yeah, it's a sign that the big players are seeing their dominance challenged.
Right.
In a way they didn't expect at all.
And the fact that DeepSeek was released on Trump's inauguration day, well, that's not a coincidence.
Right.
This was China sending a very deliberate message.
Yeah.
Especially with all the Biden administration's tech sanctions against them still in place.
Yeah.
The video even says that China held back on releasing this just to make a statement.
Wow.
It throws a wrench into the whole narrative of containment.
It does.
Like, did the U.S. accidentally push China to achieve breakthroughs?
Yeah.
They wouldn't have otherwise.
It's a good question.
And then there's the other part of this that's even more disruptive.
Okay.
DeepSeek is open source.
Oh, wow.
It's not just some tech jargon.
Right.
It changes the whole game. Anyone can use it, build on it.
So like,
think of it this way. The U.S. companies are like playing their cards close to the chest, keeping their AI developments like mostly secret.
Yeah.
China just threw open the doors and said, here you go, world. Let's see what we can do together.
That's a bold move.
That's a pretty bold move.
Yeah.
Even billionaire tech investor Mark Andreessen is quoted in the video calling this a profound gift to the world. Not exactly the reaction you'd expect from someone who thrives on like that competitive edge.
Andreessen's someone who really understands tech.
Right.
So his endorsement like carries a lot of weight.
Yeah.
This isn't just hype. It's a fundamental shift in how AI development could happen.
Oh, so we've got this incredibly powerful AI developed at lightning speed for peanuts, released as like a direct challenge to the U.S. And it's open source.
Wow.
It's a lot to take in.
It is.
Where does this leave the U.S. in terms of tech dominance?
Right.
We were always told they were miles ahead.
That's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the video doesn't shy away from suggesting that China is not just catching up, but potentially like surpassing the U.S. in some areas.
Why?
And it's happening a lot faster than anyone predicted.
They use this anecdote about Eric Schmidt, the former Google CEO.
Right.
Which is pretty compelling. Just 6 months ago, he was all confident, saying the U.S. was years ahead of China in AI.
Right.
He even called that lead an eternity.
An eternity.
In the tech world. But then like a few months later, after DeepSic dropped, Schmidt had to like eat his words.
Oh, really?
The video shows a clip of him at Harvard looking genuinely shocked, saying the U.S. chip restrictions he thought would hold China back. Clearly didn't work.
Interesting.
He even admitted it was shocking to him.
Wow, a pretty big turnaround.
Yeah.
for someone who's been at the forefront of tech for so long.
And to really drive the point home, the video highlights how DeepSic has already made its way into top U.S. universities, like Stanford and MIT.
Wow.
That's a huge indicator of DeepSic's quality and affordability.
Right.
Universities are usually on the cutting edge. And if they're adopting it, that's a big vote of confidence.
Right.
They're not just playing around with it either. These universities are integrating it into their research and development programs.
Wow.
It's almost ironic. The U.S. tries to contain China, but it seems like those efforts might have backfired spectacularly. Instead of holding them back, they may have just supercharged China's tech scene.
The video puts it pretty bluntly. They say the U.S. basically forced Chinese companies to innovate in a way they never needed to before.
And it's not just about the tech itself. It's about the talent pool. They mentioned that almost half of the top AI researchers worldwide have ties to China.
Wow.
That's a massive brain trust.
It is.
That the U.S. could be collaborating with. But instead, they're pushing them away.
It raises a question that the video tackles head on. Has the trade war actually helped China in the long run? Has it inadvertently fueled their rise as a tech superpower?
It's a question a lot of people are asking.
It is?
And the answers could have some pretty major implications. We've got this narrative emerging where the U.S. tries to play hardball. China calls their bluff. And now they're releasing tech that has everyone scrambling to catch up.
Wow.
And then things get even more interesting when the video takes a turn into investment territory. All right.
Yeah, it's a classic case of like unintended consequences.
Right.
The U.S. was so focused on like staying on top that they might have actually like created the perfect conditions for a rival to come out even stronger.
It's like they say every action has a reaction. And in geopolitics, those reactions can be pretty unpredictable.
Definitely.
The video does a great job of showing just how ambitious China has become on the world stage. It's not just about catching up anymore. It's about taking the lead.
They use this really powerful visual, a map that shows all the restriction the U.S. government has placed on AI chips. And it's not just targeting China.
Oh, really?
Even some of America's closest allies are getting caught in the crossfire.
What coup?
They highlighted Mexico and India as examples. They're classified as Tier 2, which means they have limited access to the latest AI chips.
You have to wonder how that's going to play out in terms of international relations.
It definitely creates some tension.
The
U.S. has always been like a champion of free trade, but now they're like picking and choosing who gets access to what. The video even called it ironic.
It makes you think, is the U.S. trying to decouple from China? Or are they actually decoupling from the rest of the world? Because in today's world, you can't just isolate one major player without there being ripple effects.
The video quotes Kishore Mahbubani,
Okay.
Singapore's former ambassador to the UN. And he doesn't mince words.
What does he say?
He basically says if the U.S. keeps trying to cut China off, the rest of the world will just turn to Chinese companies instead.
Wow.
They'll be the ones setting the standards,
right,
driving innovation, and shaping the global economy.
That's a pretty stark warning.
It is.
Coming from someone with his experience.
Yeah.
It highlights the tightrope the U.S. is walking right now.
Right.
They're trying to address legitimate concerns about China's growing power.
Yeah.
But they also risk alienating their allies. And ultimately losing their own influence on the world stage. It's a tough balancing act.
Absolutely. And it gets even more complicated.
Okay.
When you consider the impact of the trade war on China's manufacturing dominance, despite all the tariffs and restrictions.
Right.
The data shows that their share of global industrial production has actually gone up since 2018.
It's almost like they've turned the tables on the U.S.
Yeah.
The UN is predicting that China could be responsible for nearly half of global industrial production by 2030.
That's incredible.
Those are some pretty staggering numbers.
The video uses this great chart to illustrate what they call the globalization frenzy among Chinese companies. While the number Chinese companies expanding overseas is skyrocketing.
Yeah.
It's a complete reversal of what we've seen in the past.
So instead of containing China, the trade war might have actually accelerated their integration into the global economy.
Right.
It's like they've used these challenges as fuel to become even more competitive and adaptable.
It's a complex situation. It is.
With no easy answers.
Right.
The world is changing rapidly. And we're seeing the emergence of a new global power dynamic where China plays a much more prominent role.
So where does that leave us?
Right.
We've got this new AI powerhouse on the scene.
Yeah.
The balance of power is shifting. And the future is looking pretty uncertain. What are we supposed to make of all this?
That's where things get really interesting.
Yeah.
Because amidst all this change and uncertainty, there are also opportunities. Those who can adapt and anticipate these trends will be the ones who come out ahead.
You're talking about the investment angle again, right?
I am.
I have to admit that part of the video really got my attention.
Yeah.
Especially the argument that gold mining stocks could benefit from Trump's return and the potential for increased geopolitical tensions.
The video presented some compelling data on how junior gold mining ETFs performed
during different presidential administrations. It showed that they tended to do quite well under Trump, but not so well under Obama or Biden.
It makes you wonder if there's a correlation there. Like maybe Trump's policies create an environment where gold becomes a more attractive investment.
Of course, it's important to remember that past performance isn't necessarily indicative of future results. Investing always involves risk. And you should always do your own research.
Of course.
And due diligence before making any decisions.
Definitely always good to be cautious. But the video did make a strong case. And I have to admit, seeing that data definitely piqued my curiosity. Especially with all the uncertainty surrounding the global economy. And U.S.-China relations right now. Gold does seem like a potential safe haven.
What fascinates me about this deep dive is how it's taken us from the world of cutting-edge AI to the complexities of global trade. And even into the realm of investment strategies, it really demonstrates how interconnected these different spheres are.
It's all part of the same story, isn't it?
It is.
We're witnessing this incredible convergence of technology,
Yeah.
geopolitics and economics that's fundamentally reshaping the world.
And for you, the listener,
Right.
this deep dive is more than just absorbing information. It's about developing a framework
Okay.
for understanding these complex issues
Uh-huh.
and equipping yourself to make informed decisions
Right.
in a world that's changing faster than ever before.
Exactly. Whether you're a tech enthusiast,
Yeah.
a geopolitical junkie, or someone looking to make smart investments.
Right.
This story has something for everyone.
And it all comes back to that fundamental question.
Okay.
How are we going to navigate this new era
Yeah.
of rapid technological advancement
Yeah.
and shifting global power dynamics?
That's the question that's going to define our future.
It is. And as we delve deeper into the implications of DeepSeek, we need to consider not just the economic and political consequences,
Right.
but also the social and ethical dimensions of this AI revolution.
That's where things get really fascinating because as powerful as AI is, it's ultimately a tool.
Right.
And how we choose to use that tool, both individually and collectively, will determine the kind of future we create.
We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive. The tech behind DeepSeek, the geopolitical chess match, and even how it could impact your investments. But now let's bring it all home. What does this actually mean for you, the listener, in your everyday life?
Well, let's start with the tech world. If you're a developer, imagine waking up one morning and finding an incredibly powerful AI tool at your disposal, practically for free. How does that change your approach to building new products or services?
It's like suddenly having access to a whole new toolbox.
Exactly. You could create things that were previously impossible or way too expensive to even consider. But does that also mean the playing field is now leveled? Can a small startup or even an individual developer now compete with the big guys like Google?
The landscape is definitely shifting. It's not that the giants will disappear, but they might not hold the same unchallenged dominance they once did. And that kind of competition could be great for consumers. More choices, potentially lower prices, and faster innovation.
And for those of you who are more interested in the big picture, the global power dynamics, what does DeepSeek tell us about the future of U.S.-China relations, especially with Trump back in office?
The video clearly positions this as a challenge to the U.S. dream. China is signaling that they're not content to be followers anymore. They're aiming for leadership in key technologies like AI, and they're not afraid to make bold moves to get there.
With Trump's unpredictable approach to China, is this going to escalate into a full-blown tech arms race? Are we going to see more restrictions, more tariffs, more attempts to contain each other?
It's certainly a possibility, but the video also highlights a potential alternative one that we haven't really talked about yet.
Yeah.
Remember they mentioned that almost half of the top AI researchers worldwide have ties to China?
So cutting them off completely would be like shooting ourselves in the foot. We need to find a way to tap into that global brain trust.
Exactly. What if, instead of viewing this as a zero-sum game, we explored ways to collaborate? Imagine the U.S. and China, along with other countries, working together to address the ethical challenges of AI development, to share knowledge and resources, and to ensure that this technology benefits all of humanity.
It sounds idealistic, but it's not impossible. It would require both sides to move beyond the current climate of suspicion and distrust. But the potential rewards are enormous.
Now, shifting gears to the economic side of things, remember that compelling argument the video made about gold mining stocks, especially in light of Trump's return.
I'm still thinking about that chart they showed how those stocks performed so well during his previous term. It makes you wonder if there's something about his policies that creates a favorable environment for gold.
Again, we have to be cautious about drawing direct correlations. Past performance doesn't guarantee future results, but it does raise some interesting questions about how political decisions can impact the investment landscape.
It's a good reminder to stay informed and to keep learning. The world is changing fast, and whether you're a tech enthusiast, a policy wonk, or an investor, understanding these trends is crucial.
The key takeaway here is that everything is connected. Technology, geopolitics, economics, they're all intertwined, and the choices we make in one area can have ripple effects across the board.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with a final thought, something that really stuck with me. From the video, we've talked a lot about competition, about the potential for conflict between the U.S. and China in the AI realm. But what if, and this is a big what if DeepSeek, being open source, sparks a new era of collaboration, not just between these two countries, but globally?
That's a powerful idea.
Yeah.
What if, instead of hoarding knowledge and trying to outdo each other, we embrace the idea of sharing and building upon each other's work?
Imagine researchers from all over the world contributing to the DeepSeek project, pooling their expertise and resources to solve some of humanity's most pressing challenges.
It's a hopeful vision, and it's not without its hurdles. But DeepSeek has cracked open the door to a new way of thinking about AI development. It's a chance to move beyond national rivalries and embrace a more global collaborative approach.
And that's what the deep dive is all about. We don't just present you with information, we challenge you to think critically, to connect the dots, and to imagine possibilities.
Because the future isn't set in stone. It's being shaped right now by the choices we make, both individually and collectively. So go out there, explore, stay curious, and be part of the conversation. The world is waiting for your contributions.